Hey there, my name is Johnny Richardson, and I want to explain to you a little bit about a one-year program that we're running this year, and also explain to you my journey within this sort of expert or information marketing industry, and how I went from sort of making a quite serious mess of it to begin with, to the situation that I'm in now. Now, without necessarily overly self-glorifying myself, I want to explain to you where I am now, so that you can perhaps get some context for that and perhaps understand why you might want to necessarily listen to me. As I stand here now, I'm the author of these three books. Two of them are in running coffee shops, and this book is a book about a golf challenge that I run. Now, it took me quite a long time to get the whole process of getting a book marketed and sold properly out there. This book, for example, I had 83 rejections for. But if you go on now onto Amazon, almost anywhere in the world, and look at the sales of these, one of which is 4 years old, 5 years old, you will see that these books consistently sell day in and day out. They are not sort of, I'm not standing here as some sort of, hey, look, I'm an Amazon bestseller who managed to have book sales reach the top of the chart, you know, for one day because I managed to get all my friends and family to buy it. So these books sell extraordinarily well throughout the world. This, for example, is the Indian version of one of my coffee shop books. And this book was the best-selling golf book in the UK for nearly 2 years. Now this book, we've just signed a Spanish deal. It was the best-selling golf book in Germany for a long period of time. Sold very well in the States too. But perhaps of more excitement than anything else is this book is currently being turned into a movie at Elstree Studios in North London. And there are a number of stars involved with that. We've got Nick Faldo and Sam Torrance from the golfing world involved with that. So this has been a huge success. Now, I've sold a lot of books over the last few years, but perhaps the most interesting thing in terms of understanding how to understand this industry is that actually I've made approximately 10 times the amount of money out of selling information online off the back of that as to what I have in terms of selling books. And as I say, we've sold a tremendous amount of books. So I started into this whole industry about 7 years ago. I had historically run normal trading businesses. I've had sandwich bars, chip shops, large garden centre group, lots and lots of different kinds of businesses where you need to employ people. I reached the stage where I decided that I'd employed more than 1,000 people in my career, and I was starting to become a little bit dissatisfied with that. I had about 120 staff at that stage, and I realised that what I had managed to do was shift myself out of that classic sort of joyous self-employment and excitement into really just creating a job for myself. Now, I love people, but when I was spending 50% of my day or time really dealing with HR issues, I realised that this wasn't wrong. I had become, to use my sort of slightly cheesy metaphor, an unhappy little boy. And that for me was kind of the beginning of the journey into understanding how I could take the information that I'd developed over the years and perhaps make a business with really, really different rules. A business that I could run from anywhere in the world, a business that I could run without any staff, that I could use you know, full-time people in the Philippines and working in all sorts of different ways. It seemed like a tremendously exciting dream to begin with, but when I started I kind of got it all wrong. I went straight out into consulting and coaching, wrote a couple of books, and at the end of the first full year I discovered that I had earned £23,000 for a tremendous amount of work. Needless to say, after my big job and the big career that I'd had before and that big business that we'd had, that was not what I was after, so I made a lot of mistakes to begin with. And whatever way you look at it, the sad face continued. I had kind of messed up. I hadn't got it right. Now, what we have always tried to do within all of the other kinds of businesses that we've worked is try to get through to the stage where you can understand the process, the system, or the analogy that I always use, the jigsaw upon which the business, put the pieces in places, and so that you end up with this finished jigsaw for the business. I thought I'd get that resolved in 2 or 3 years. I absolutely categorically did not. I earned about £40,000 the year after that, working even harder, and made a tremendous amount more mistakes. So it was only after that that I started to put together the various bits and pieces. And very briefly, what I want to do is show you how this comes together. I talk about this in slightly different terms to what most people do, but that's because over 3 different niches, we have now come up with this model that fundamentally works. I've spent a tremendous amount of time and money with a lot of experts in the particular aspects of the industry that you need to put together to get the knowledge together. I have made a lot of mistakes, but we now sell very, very profitably 3 membership sites online. As I say, we continue to sell tens of thousands of books every year. I do very, very little of one-on-one consulting and coaching. I've managed to craft the business into the format that I want, and that's one of the first things that you've got to try and do. You've got to sit down to begin with and work out what it is that you want from it, not just jump in and decide that you want to do something else. So the formula basically works like this. You need to start off with an understanding of the customer or the marketplace that you're involved with. Now, golf is a brilliant market to be involved with because there are millions of them out there and they spend a lot of money. So golf worked extremely well. Coffee shop, and I haven't really the time to go into it now, but the coffee shop is much more limited in many ways because they do not have necessarily the money to spend. So you look first of all at the marketplace and the customer and get a very, very deep understanding of how they work. I've probably spent 30 or 40,000 hours working within the hospitality industry in an effort to understand what makes a coffee shop owner tick. I have spent my own money, set up my own businesses. There's nothing that I know more about that. I understand that market instinctively. Golf is slightly different, but what I did within golf was I, in 1 year, hugely immersed myself in that, so that I reached a stage where I fully understood that market, and my relationship with them I continued to develop so that I would learn exactly how to interact with them. Now, once you've got yourself and your relationship with the market sorted, and there's quite a lot of work within that, you then have to craft your story about you so that it appeals to that marketplace. I cannot emphasize this enough. It took me a long time to understand that a huge part of what we do is about getting your story right so that the customer, the marketplace, buys into you. Once you've got that resolved, you need to work with a variety of engagement devices, as I told them, the engagement pieces within the jigsaw, so that you can start to get these customers to interact with what you do in a non-paid or very inexpensive way. So what do I mean by engagement devices? That could be paid advertising. It could be something that forces people to make a click or be interested in you. It could be the books that they buy. It could be speeches. It could be joint ventures with other people where they introduce you to what you do. This is an initial engagement device for the mastermind group. That's what this is. That's what I'm doing here now. So you need to understand the engagement devices that can work for you, how you work best within the ones that do work for you, what you enjoy doing most, because you might not like doing video, you might not like writing, we all do different things. And then you move them on to conversion devices, conversion pieces of the jigsaw. So it took me, again, quite a long time to understand the best way to do that. The one particular conversion device that I've managed to use extraordinarily well is webinars. Now, there are lots and lots of different conversion devices. Again, video can be used as a way to convert people initially through, perhaps from a speech to begin with, into some form of a no-brainer offer and onto the product. Video, webinars, it's live talking, lots and lots of different devices out there to convert people into a sale. Now, again, one of the things that I did badly to begin with, and what most people do, is particularly with products with a very low cost to you, is that they get the offer wrong. So you have to spend a lot of time getting your no-brainer offer sorted so that you then lead through to a product that makes them think, yes, I definitely want that. Now, coming full circle, that product must work for you. It must be something that allows you to create the lifestyle out of this business that you want rather than just actually something that definitely sells. So this kind of 7-step process is a jigsaw within itself, but the overriding aspect is you're trying to create not just an income, but you're trying to create something that works for you. Okay? Now, one of the other things that worked for me enormously as I worked out this process is I was a member of 2 or 3 different mastermind groups along the way. I very quickly realized that because this was a new business or a new venture for me, and as I say, it's taken me 7 years to really feel that I've got it nailed, I needed to be around other people who were doing the same thing. So I was in my first mastermind group within this industry. Well, the first mastermind group was a group that helped me enormously in terms of finishing the golf challenge. The second one was a group of other people who were all doing the same thing that I was doing, but in different niches. They were all experts trying to make better money and a better lifestyle out of the industry. All, to an extent, people who had realized it wasn't quite as easy as the dream that is sold out there. It's a very important point to realize that actually nearly every stage of this requires some reasonably solid graft. There are no classic, simple push button systems out there. To become somebody who really is the go-to person within your niche, the person that is in that absolute top 1% of somebody who the customer, the marketplace goes to for the information, requires you to really have all of these bits and pieces nailed. So, what are we trying to do here? Well, what I'm trying to tell you about is this is the process that we work with within a number of clients that we work with as well. And what we're putting together this year is a mastermind specifically for a maximum of 10 people who will come along and work with me and the other people in the group to come up with their version of all of these pieces filled. I don't know every single answer to all of these parts of it. For example, I don't do a lot of paid advertising, but I have people that do paid advertising for me in the various niches that I work with. So I've developed this huge resource of experts that I work alongside to help me to keep positioning little pieces within this so that we become more and more profitable. We provide more and more value back to the marketplace because ultimately that's how this thing works. So we're doing 5 meetings this year starting at the end of May. 2 days for the first 4 meetings and 1 day for the final meeting. Now all the details should be below you, it should be below this video here, or certainly on a link below this video for you to get more information. But what we're also doing is 4 one-day seminars covering 4 of the really crucial parts of this. We're doing a full 1-day seminar to cover the customer aspect, the understanding of the marketplace and how you can appeal to that. We're doing a full 1-day seminar on the engagement process, how you get people to buy into your information, a full 1-day seminar on the conversion process, and a full 1-day seminar on the creation of products that sell, content that really, really sells, content that really delivers for the customer but also works properly within what you want out of it. So we're doing all 4 of those. I will cover the various other aspects that we're talking about during the mastermind days as well. Now, there are a number of masterminds out there. There are a number of people out there who have put together masterminds. You can put one together yourself. But what I really find that one of the most valuable things within a mastermind group as well, and something that I very, very strongly got in place is this, is the accountability. So what we have discovered is that along the way, the power of the mastermind is huge. The power of sitting around a table with people all working on the same problems as you every quarter, learning other bits and pieces as well is huge. But actually what you also need is the accountability so that you have made a commitment at the start of the year towards a process of what you're going to try and do with your business. And that you know every month in the calls that we do or every quarter when we meet that somebody, me, and some of the other folk in the group are all going to be expecting you to have delivered on the promise that you said. And as I say, the power of the mastermind means that everybody helps each other along the way, but the accountability is huge. On the very first 2 days, you will sit down and map out exactly what it is your business is and exactly what you are expecting to do over the year and the process for that, and then therefore what you will be held accountable to. So I cannot emphasize enough how important that is, how big a part of it is that we're trying to do, and how much I feel that is of benefit to you. So really what we're talking about is a lot of great content, this kind of mystical, amazing power of the mastermind that comes along in terms of buoying everybody along, and this accountability thing aspect as well. So more information should be down below. Lots of contact details there if you're looking for more information, and if you'd like anything more about it, to know more about it, as I say, you should be able to find the information below, and I very much look forward to you coming along if you feel that it is something that will be of interest to you.